guys, it's your girl Therese Nicole. I'm a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Keivette Realty. I'm also the director of cheerleading for Ballinger Creek Rec Council at Crestwood Middle School and the varsity cheer coach at Frederick High School under the leadership of the infamous Keivette Hammond, who's here for my third Zoom interview. And I'm super, super excited to have you, Coach Hammond. How are you doing today?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I am phenomenal. How are you doing with this pandemic?
Just hanging in there, just taking it one day and really 1 second at a time, and waiting for additional information to come in so I can figure out how to process it for myself and to share with everybody that I need to share it with.
Yeah, because you're still sharing it with us. It's quick.
Yeah. Yep. And that's one of the things, not knowing is, I guess, one of the biggest worries. So as soon as I know, I try to get it out as fast as I can so everybody can make decisions based on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then how are the coaches handling the season, their spring season?
Mm-hmm. So I think they're disappointed. Anytime that you get a chance to practice and start with some teams and see that potential and not be able to see that realized for the student athletes and for yourself as a coach is always disappointing. So it's almost like, knowing that it's Christmas and not being able to open the gifts and getting a chance to experience that with your family. So I'm sure they're devastated, or I know they're devastated, as well as all of our spring student athletes.
I can imagine, and I'm sure the winter sports, basketball, is upset too, because this would have been their third year going to compete for that championship, correct?
Yeah, so this would have been their fourth year. They had actually won the state championship 3 years in a row. And on the day that we were scheduled to go to Towson, they made the decision to postpone the tournament. And then this week, we just got guidance that the spring season and the basketball tournament will be postponed indefinitely for the rest of this season. So they won't be able to have a chance to experience that. But not only our student athletes at Frederick High that were a part of that girls basketball team, but 32 other teams around the state and 2 other teams in Frederick County had made it to this point and just didn't get an opportunity to finish their seasons that way.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a bummer. Well, I know you, Coach Hammond, because you actually used to coach my daughter basketball over at Frederick High. And now I'm under your leadership at Frederick High, and I'm super excited because I am learning so much from you. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, and my son was just telling me to turn my volume down because it's affecting your speaker, he believes. So going back to, my daughter was a student athlete over at Frederick High, and even then I learned so much because I remember you calling me, telling me that her math teacher had called, she wasn't doing her work. So I'm like, oh, really? So this is more than just cheer or sports. This is about people being successful in life.
Yeah, I think you think about it, sports is what everybody talks about. That's what everybody sees on the newspaper and on social media. But the reality of this thing is that, we also missing instructional time as far as face-to-face. Obviously, FCPS has went to a virtual model, so students are still learning that way. But we all know that a lot of business, a lot of sports, a lot of education is based on that relationship. So getting that face-to-face interaction is really lacking and missing right now. So it's a big change for everybody, not only with sports educations and businesses, around the country.
So since sports have been canceled, what can student athletes be doing at home or people in general just to stay fit?
So one of the things I think is, apps, NTC, which is Nike Training Club, is usually an app that you have to pay for, but they have opened up everything. So you can do yoga, mental wellness, running, weights without equipment. So looking at those apps, one thing that I've tried to do is a couple 30-day challenges. It's one thing to do it on your own, but it makes it a little bit more enjoyable if you can challenge like a friend or somebody else to kind of hold each other accountable, even if you're not in the same household, and you can text back and forth or Zoom calls or whatever it is that you do to check in with each other. But I think take advantage of all the free apps on your phone that can kind of track your progress and give you something still to work for. As far as student athletes, I'm sure I know coaches have been in contact with them with certain workouts that they still can work out with in order to be, prepared for the summer, whatever that may look like. So technology is a great thing now. I think, we have a lot of it. It's just using it and figuring out what's best for you.
Awesome. And so I know the coaches are reaching out to their student athletes to kind of keep them working and keep them fit and keep their physical fitness up, what are some challenges that you're seeing from whether it's your families or coaches in terms of, the communication or the accountability? Are you hearing anything?
I think just the biggest challenge for everybody right now is this is such a big change. We're used to being able to go out on fields and practice and have that in-person interaction with each other. And right now it's all via, as far as coaches, they can't even do a call like this, a live call with students. They have to via email or, Schoology or whatever else that we have out there where we can communicate with the student athletes. So I think that's the biggest challenge is not being able to necessarily see them face to face. Obviously, they can send us, videos back or pictures of them performing the exercises. But that's definitely different in the sports world when we're used to, coaching and interacting with student athletes and everybody on a daily basis.
Yeah, and that's funny that you said that about the videos, because I was actually calling all of the cheerleaders the past couple of weeks, checking in, seeing how they're doing with their schoolwork and seeing how they're doing mentally. And someone was like, I can't focus, or so I said, let me, and this is funny because I said, let me put together a Zoom call so we can all come on Zoom and we could all, just kind of let it out. And
right.
So that was the same day you actually sent a message out saying no Zoom calls.
Right.
So I said, I'm putting together a Zoom call. Karanta said, you can't do that. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, and understandably so. And then it's just trying to work those kinks out, trying to figure out what is allowed at this point, because this is so new and so different for all of us. Because like you said, you just want to be there for them and figure out how you can support them, because it's almost like when they go to college, there's no one there to say, this is your schedule, this is how you have to get your work done. And now all of a sudden you got 24 hours to do homework. It's almost like they're in a college experience, and some of them might not necessarily be ready for that. So developing those schedules, okay, this is the time that I'm going to do math, and this is the time that I'm going to exercise, or whatever that day may look like for them, helping them come up with that plan. Because as adults, we had to do it as well.
Absolutely. And jump right into it as well. So what have you been doing to stay focused during this time?
Yeah, so for me, I'm still teleworking and going to the school at least, twice a week. But things are still, going and blowing for the fall, getting schedules ready for that. Trying to set up virtual meetings, figuring out how we will do a sports registration night virtually if needed. So as far as the athletic world may be concerned, we may not be playing games, but we still have schedules and buses and other things that still need to be done, and that's nonstop, whether students are at school or not. So just doing some of those things. But I think right now was a great time to improve. So attending training sessions with the NIAAA and doing different webinars, listening to athletic directors across the country, figuring out, okay, what does this look like for us in the fall? And now that we don't have spring sports, just learning some of the best practices that they're using.
Awesome. That's some good information. And it seems like you have been staying very busy.
Oh, yes.
Have you been reading any books?
So right now I'm reading Gutsy Women by Hillary and Chelsea Clinton. So that's what I'm on right now.
Oh,
and actually, I'm an audiobook type person. I like to, get it in my ears and listen that way.
Yeah, I do audio and paper at the same time.
Okay.
It's funny that you said that book, because I spoke with Judy Wims yesterday, and she was telling me that she's actually reading Becoming by Michelle Obama. And then I also spoke with Janine Beck, and she was reading the same book. So all of you guys are reading presidential type books. So that's pretty awesome. What advice can you give families to help them get through this pandemic right now? A lot of people are out there struggling. They want to get back to life as they knew it before, whether it's safe or not. What advice can you give?
I think right now it's just to take it hour by hour. I think we sometimes get ahead of ourselves and try to figure out, okay, what's going to happen next? Obviously, a lot of people higher than we are don't even know. So just trying to stay present and figuring out what is it that I can best do in this moment. Because really anything beyond that, we cannot control. So it's trying to stay present and enjoying the time you have with your family, or just being still, honestly. But that's the best advice I have. I know people are starting to get frustrated and ready to get out, but we definitely want to do our part as a community to flatten that curve and not jump out too quick.
Right. And sometimes that means, there's a quote that says, alone we could do so little, but together we can do so much more. And I think that's even one of these moments when we're trying to flatten the curve together by staying socially distant can help us get there so much faster. and then we can be out of the house safely versus, you know, back in the situation again.
Yeah, because I think everybody, once it's done, hopes that it's done for good, and then we can get back to some type of normalcy, and not moving too quick.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we did have a little bit of technical difficulty. So one of the questions that I skipped over was, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I'm currently the coordinator of athletics, facilities, and campus improvement at Frederick High School. So I oversee all 27 sports and, you know, roughly 110 coaches. And all of our operations teams. So that's what I do now. I'm originally from Baltimore. I did my schooling in West Virginia Tech, Marshall. Came back and got an Admin 1 cert from McDaniel. So that's pretty much me. Usually I'm at Frederick High 24/7. So this is a big change for me.
And you actually won a couple of championships over at Frederick High too, right?
Yeah, so I started to coach at Frederick High, the girls basketball team, in 2005. And so I was the coach there for 11 years. And we won the first state championship in 2011 for the school. So that was very exciting. And then I became the athletic director in 2015. So it was good to see, you know, the tradition continue and the success with the girls basketball program. And then the other programs as we became AD.
Well, they just carrying on the momentum, which is awesome. But I definitely want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to meet with you today. Hopefully this information could help a few families out there. And just thank you for all you do. Like 27 sports, one team is your motto, and that is it. So I love that about the Frederick High program. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are more than welcome, and thanks for being a part of it.
Oh, you see, I have my Frederick High gear on today, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.